why is it that you can believe something is true, something is right, something is good, and yet fail to live out your belief? And I don't mean what the preacher said was good. I don't mean what your mama said was right. I mean your genuine convictions and beliefs. Maybe one of your beliefs is that you would be better off if you avoided financial debt and saved and invested for the future, but perhaps your behaviors don't fully align with what you believe. Why is that? Maybe when it comes to your family relationships, perhaps you're married and you believe that you should be patient and kind to the one person you promised to love till death do us part. Or maybe if you have children, maybe you believe you should spend more time reading with your children, or they should have access to less screen time. Or maybe with your extended family, maybe there are some toxic people, and you believe you should set clear and firm and healthy boundaries with them. Yet when you look at your family relationships, you don't always behave according to your beliefs. Why is that? Maybe one of your beliefs is that you should eat fewer desserts, fewer processed foods, and more vegetables and more whole foods. Maybe what your belief is that you would be a healthier person if you consumed less alcohol. But your behaviors are not always aligned with what you believe is good or true or right. Or think about your spiritual life. Maybe you've been coming to this series practicing prayer, and every week you are thinking to yourself, that's right, yep, that's right, I need to practice prayer more. I should do the homework assignment this week so I can practice prayer and become more competent at it. But you find that by Monday, by Tuesday, by Wednesday, you're not doing what you believe is good. Or let me talk just to the Christians for a second. If you are a Christian, you believe something crazy. You believe God loves you, and that in the end, everything is going to be amazing. But is your life that different than the lives of people in our world who don't believe that? Why is it that we don't always behave according to what we believe is good and right and true? Or to ask the question a different way, because I wanted to make this something that you really wrestle with and something that sticks with you. So I thought, I'm going to ask a question that rhymes, because pastors know something. If I can make it rhyme, you'll remember it every time. Here's the question. Why don't you do what you believe is true? Why is there incongruence? Why is there a discrepancy between what you do and what you believe is true? Now, here's why you need to have a clear and compelling answer to this question. The reason why is because as long as there is a gap between your beliefs and your behaviors, as long as there is some measure of distance between your inner life and your outer life, you will never be a person who experiences genuine, sustained happiness. The distance between your beliefs and your behaviors is proportionate to the distance between you and sustained and lasting happiness. Okay? You've maybe never put it in these terms before, but you've all experienced this. If you believe financially you should spend less than you earn, but there is a gap between that and your actual budget, you will not feel happiness. It will not happen. If you believe you should go to bed at an earlier hour, but you are still up late, falling asleep late, holding on to your phone, you will not experience happiness. If you believe you should lay off the dessert, but by the end of the night you discover you've had a pint or perhaps a quart of Culver's delicious custard, as delicious as it is, are you going to be happy? No. Because the distance between your beliefs and your behaviors is proportionate to the distance between you and genuine and sustained happiness. Now, the modern world is terrible at gaining happiness. Because everything around us says happiness is easy. You get more, you accomplish more, you have more. Yet we have more food, more transportation, more vacation, more comforts, more luxuries than anyone who ever came before us. Yet we're still on this treadmill pursuing happiness, and it remains elusive. Have you ever read the diaries or journals of people who lived a century or longer ago? If you do, you notice something. They're not as self-absorbed as we are today. They're not as despondent as we are today. They're not as anxious as we are today. And the reason why is because we believed and internalized something that just isn't true. What we believed is that happiness can be achieved in life by directly pursuing happiness. It's kind of the misleading part of the Declaration of Independence. We assume that the pursuit of happiness is the thing that leads to happiness. But we've learned enough in the modern Western world to discover that's not getting it done. Because something that we've all learned by experience and the biblical authors teach us is that a direct pursuit of happiness will never result in happiness. Happiness is a byproduct. It's a byproduct that comes when you pursue something different than happiness, okay? Here's what it is. Happiness is a byproduct of two key activities. Number one, aligning your beliefs with reality. That thing you believe is good, that thing you believe is right, that thing you believe is true, that needs to be fully aligned with the reality of the universe in which we live. For example, if you believe that life should be easy, I'm sorry, you're never going to experience lasting happiness. Because your belief is not aligned with the reality of the world that we live in. And every time you bump into reality, it will crush your ability to experience happiness. Okay? You will never experience happiness by pursuing happiness. It's a byproduct that comes when you align your beliefs with the reality of the world that we live in. And number two, happiness is a byproduct of integrating your beliefs with your behaviors, of taking what it is that you believe about the world and fully unifying it with your outer life. Now, this is something that the ancient Hebrew people called shalom. It is a place of flourishing as a human being, a place of thriving as humanity, where our beliefs are aligned with the world as it actually is, and they're integrated with the lifestyles that we are leading. Now, this idea of achieving happiness as a byproduct of these two key activities directly intersects what we're talking about in this series, which is practicing